Hello, this is Required Fields, and anyways, Happy New Year. I hope 2018 is going along good for everyone so far. Now, I'm just going to do a bit of a year in review for the best metal albums of 2017, and these are some of the albums that I would consider, these are the top 10 video here. These are 10 albums, this is my top 10 of 2017 list here, and let's get started. I'm going to start off with Morfin, Consumed by Evil. Now, this is an album that I really wish was discussed more amongst the best of 2017. Morfin is a death metal band who plays what I would call new old school death metal. They really got that sound down very well. And my favorite tracks on this album would be Reincarnated and Consumed by Evil, the title and closing track. Those are, and I also like the instrumental track Illusions of Horror as well, but overall this is a great death metal release, and it's an absolute shame that this album isn't being discussed more in the metal scene in terms of best of 2017. If you like that type of description, new old school death metal, absolutely check this album out. This is Torture Squad with Far Beyond Existence. Now, Torture Squad is a band that hasn't really gotten much distribution of their albums in North America, which is an absolute shame. And this is probably why, and that's also probably why that this album hasn't really been discussed by too many people in terms of their favorite albums of 2017 lists, but that I've seen so far. But overall, this is okay. This does end up on my best of 2017 list. And Torture Squad is a death metal and thrash metal hybrid band, so if you like that type of thing, definitely be sure to track down a copy of Far Beyond Existence. And anyways, then we have Overkill with The Grinding Wheel. Overkill does it again, delivers yet another great album. Anyways, yes, they're always Overkill's a very dependable band, and one you can easily rely on when you want to hear some great metal. And they make it to this year's best of 2017 list very easily. This album, The Grinding Wheel, a great addition to their catalog. And then we got Decrepit Birth with Axis Mundi. This is the first Decrepit Birth album since 2010, and this is their fourth album, and this is their most brutal album since the debut, and Time Begins. They had a more of a brutal death metal sound on that album before evolving to a more progressive technical sound on later albums. This album is their most brutal since the debut, while actually also having the more technical progressive elements that they actually had on their more recent albums. And let's just hope it's not another 7-year wait until the next Decrepit Birth album, although I can understand them wanting to actually take their time with their albums rather than put out albums that sound a little bit uninspired. Anyways, this is another good album, Decrepit Birth Axis Mundi, another one of my favorites of the year. And next up is Vescera with Beyond the Fight. Vescera is a new band for Michael Vescera, who first got recognition in the metal scene by being a frontman for Obsession, and after stints of being the frontman for the Japanese band Loudness when they replaced their Japanese vocalist American one. And he also sang for Yngwie Malmsteen for a bit, and he also has MVP, Michael Vescera Project. And anyways, this is his new band, Vescera, with Beyond the Fight. If you're into Obsession, then this is another, this is a band that you might want to check out, as it's the same vocalist and has a comparable sound as well. And anyways, definitely check this album out if you're into the more traditional melodic metal sound, Vescera Beyond the Fight. This is Suffocation with Of the Dark Light. The Death Metal Masters did it again with this album. Number one of my favorites of 2017. I discussed this in one of my What's Been Spinning videos earlier this year. And Yeah, not too much over to say other than the fact that this is definitely one of my favorite albums of 2017 as well. And this is Heretic with A Game You Cannot Win. This is a band that's probably best known in the metal scene for being the band that Mike Howe from Metal Church was in before he stayed for Metal Church, and then Heretic broke up. They reformed in the 2010s, although Mike Howe is not the frontman. The frontman now that they have is Julian Mendez. And anyways, Metal Church is a great comparison point for this band. If you're into that band, you should check out these guys too. With A Game You Cannot Win, this is another really good album that was released in 2017. And frontman for Metal Church. Metal Church is also the perfect reference point for the type of sound they have going on. And this is Hexx with Wrath of the Reaper. Hexx was a traditional metal band that formed in the that was around the early 1980s. They originally started off a sound more comparable to Metal Church and very early Sabotage, before evolving into a more extreme metal sound on later albums, before breaking up in the early 1990s. They've reformed in the 21st century, and this is their first album since the early 1990s, and it's closer to the sound that they had on the early albums than their later more extreme albums. And anyway, that's another one of my favorite albums of 2017. This is Kreator of Gods of Violence. This album is very different from the Kreators that I actually got into back in the day. They're more extreme thrash metal albums. This is a much more melodic and more traditional metal influenced Kreator. Still very thrashy at times, but people have called this album Kreator goes power metal almost. And anyways, Gods of Violence is the name of the album, and the title track is my favorite on that one. And it's another album I really liked in 2017. And this is Power Trip with Nightmare Logic. This was an album that got a lot of discussion in the 2017 metal scene, and I can see why. It's a really nice modern day thrash metal album. My favorite tracks on it are Executioner's Tax, Swing of the Axe, and Firing Squad are my favorites in this one, and also If Not Us Then Who. Anyways, I can definitely see why that album is one of the more talked about metal albums of 2017. Some other albums that I would give honorable mentions to would be Gruesome, Fragments of Psyche, which I didn't include because it only has one new original track on it, the title track, which is hands down one of the top 5 best tracks of 2017 easily. A cover song and a few demo tracks from the debut, so I didn't include that one. But honorable mentions include as well Havok's Conformicide, Morta, Skuld, Wounds Deeper Than Time, and Beheaded Beast Incarnate. But anyways, yes, it was never a really good year for metal, and that's my top 10 of 2017. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is Required Field signing off, and goodbye.